You might be shocked to learn that every world map you've ever seen is an outright lie. Yes, you heard it right. The familiar image of our world, the one we find in textbooks and plastered on classroom walls, is not as truthful as we have been led to believe. Let's trace back to the 16th century, a time when exploration was in full swing and map-making was a craft of paramount importance. Here we meet a man named Gerardus Mercator, a renowned cartographer, whose map-making technique would change the way we view the world. This technique is known as the Mercator Projection. The Mercator Projection, while brilliant in its own right, has a significant flaw: distortion. As you move away from the equator towards the poles, land masses appear much larger than they really are. This distortion means that countries near the equator appear smaller, while those closer to the poles seem disproportionately large. For instance, Greenland appears comparable in size to Africa on a Mercator map, when in reality, Africa is 14 times larger. So why, you might ask, did we adopt such a misleading portrayal of our world? The answer lies in its practicality for navigation. The Mercator projection preserves angles, making it an invaluable tool for sailors traversing the high seas. Its widespread use, however, has led to a skewed perception of our world, perpetuating misconceptions about the size and significance of different countries and continents. This distortion has profound implications, not just for our geographical understanding, but also for our cultural and political perceptions. It subtly influences how we see the world, how we perceive the significance of different countries, and how we understand our place within this vast globe. So, the world map as we know it is not an accurate representation of our world's geography. It's time to question what else we might have misunderstood. As we delve deeper into the history and evolution of maps, we invite you to join us on this journey of discovery, challenging what you thought you knew about our world. The truth, as you'll find, is often far more fascinating than fiction. If our current world maps are flawed, where did it all begin? This question takes us back to the dawn of civilization, to the age when man first felt the urge to understand and represent his surroundings. The earliest known maps date back to the ancient Babylonians, who around 4,000 years ago scratched their understanding of the world onto clay tablets. These maps, though crude and simplistic by our standards, were a breakthrough in human thought. They showed the world as a flat disk, surrounded by a massive body of water, with Babylon prominently at the center. Moving to the land of the pharaohs, the ancient Egyptians also made significant contributions to cartography. They developed detailed topographical maps for practical purposes, primarily for the construction of pyramids and temples. Their maps, drawn on papyrus, were more advanced and detailed, incorporating elements of scale and orientation. Far to the east, the Chinese were also making strides in map-making. They developed a grid system for their maps, and were the first to use a compass for navigation, which greatly improved their accuracy. Their maps were often drawn on silk scrolls and were used for a variety of purposes, including military strategy and administrative planning. In ancient Greece, the birthplace of Western civilization, the art of map-making reached new heights. The Greek philosopher Anaximander is often credited with creating the first map of the world. His student Hecataeus of Miletus further refined these maps, adding place names and geographical features. Perhaps the most famous Greek cartographer was Ptolemy, whose work in the 2nd century AD would influence map-making for centuries to come. He introduced the concept of latitude and longitude, allowing for a more accurate representation of the Earth's surface. From clay tablets to silk scrolls, our ancestors' attempts to understand their world laid the foundation for modern map-making. Through their endeavors, they gave us more than just maps. They gave us a way to navigate our world, to understand our place in it, and to dream of what lies beyond the horizon. The age of exploration brought a seismic shift in the world of cartography. Let's delve into how this era, spanning the 15th to 17th centuries, reshaped the way we perceive our world. During this time, Europe was gripped by a fervor for discovery. The compass had been introduced from China, and the astrolabe, a device used for determining latitude, was refined. These tools, coupled with advancements in shipbuilding, ignited the flame of exploration. Our first stop is with Christopher Columbus, a Genoese explorer whose name is synonymous with the age of exploration. Despite setting sail with the aim of discovering a westward route to Asia, he instead stumbled upon the Americas in 1492. This chance discovery would radically alter the way cartographers approached map-making. No longer was the world a flat plain, but a round sphere with uncharted territories waiting to be discovered. As Columbus opened the door to the New World, another explorer was making his own mark on cartography. Ferdinand Mellan, a Portuguese explorer, initiated the first circumnavigation of the globe. His voyage provided cartographers with a more accurate understanding of the world's size and shape. However, these voyages of discovery were not without controversy. The arrival of European explorers brought disease and conflict to indigenous populations, altering their landscapes irreversibly. These impacts continue to be the subject of passionate debate among historians and scholars. The age of exploration was a time of great discovery and change. It was an era that challenged the status quo and pushed the boundaries of what was known. But it was also a time of great upheaval and destruction. As explorers ventured out into the unknown, they were not just discovering new lands, but also shaping the course of history. As we reflect on this era, it's clear that the age of exploration was more than just a period of discovery. It was a time that fundamentally reshaped our understanding of the world and our place in it. These explorers, for better or worse, left their mark on the world, transforming the art of map-making in their wake. The age of exploration didn't just change the world, it changed how we see it. Fast forward to the 21st century and we're mapping our world in ways our ancestors could never have imagined. We've traded our compasses and parchments for digital screens and signals from space. With the rise of digital mapping technologies, we've revolutionized the way we navigate and understand our world. In the late 20th century, the Global Positioning System, or GPS, emerged as a game-changer in the field of cartography. Developed by the United States Department of Defense, it was initially designed for military use. But by the turn of the century, GPS had become an everyday tool, guiding us through the maze of our cities and even into the wilderness. Today we have satellite imagery at our fingertips, capable of providing us with real-time and high-resolution images of our planet. These images are not just pretty pictures. They're tools for understanding critical global issues. For instance, satellite images have been instrumental in tracking the effects of climate change, from melting ice caps to deforestation. They've helped us monitor natural disasters, track wildlife populations, and even discover ancient archaeological sites. But as with all revolutions, the digital revolution in mapping has not been without controversy. As we embrace the convenience of digital maps, we're also wrestling with questions about privacy and data collection. Every time we use a GPS or look up a location on a digital map, we leave a digital footprint. These footprints, gathered en masse, have raised concerns about who has access to this information and how it's used. It's a complex issue, one that's still being navigated as we continue to chart our course in this digital age. Just as the early cartographers transformed their understanding of the world with their maps, so too are we reshaping ours with digital technology. We're not just mapping physical locations anymore. We're mapping data, patterns and trends. We're mapping the invisible and the intangible. And in doing so, we're gaining a deeper understanding of our world and ourselves. The digital revolution has taken us from ink and parchment to pixels and satellites, transforming our world into data. Where do we go from here? What does the future hold for our maps and our world? As we stride into the future, we see an exciting horizon for cartography, brimming with the promise of technology. Imagine maps that leap off the page, three-dimensional depictions of terrain that you can touch and feel. Visualize virtual reality explorations, where we can immerse ourselves in any location on Earth or even beyond. But with these advancements come challenges. How do we map other planets, the vast expanse of space, or the uncharted depths of our own oceans? These are the questions that future cartographers will grapple with as they continue to push the boundaries of the known. As we continue to push the boundaries of discovery, our maps will not only reflect our world, they will shape it. After all, our maps are not just tools for navigation, but mirrors of our understanding, reflecting not only our geography, but also our perception of the world. And that's a world worth exploring.